Welcome to the Initially Connecting to the ztC Edge Console training module. This is a continuation of the initial deployment video training module. We'll now move on to Step 6 and connect to the ztC Edge Console. To log on to the ztC Edge Console, you'll need to first record the IP address from Step 4 of the deployment process. Enter the IP address into a web browser, log into the ztC Edge Console, agree to the end-user license agreement, configure your network settings, and complete the registration process. From a networked PC or laptop, type the IP address of node 0, or whichever node is the primary node, into a browser address bar. This IP address is the one you noted in Step 4. The logon page of the ztC console appears. Enter admin for the username and admin for password, and then click Login. The Stratus ztC Edge EULA appears. Read the EULA and then, if appropriate, click Accept to accept it. If you do not accept the EULA, deployment terminates. The initial configuration page appears under Config. Under Notifications, the box for Enable Support Notifications is checked by default. If you do not want the ztC Edge system to send health and status notifications to your authorized Stratus service representative, uncheck the box. You can change this setting later. Under System IP, for Static System IP, enter the Static System IP address that you obtained from your network administrator. The System IP address is sometimes referred to as the Cluster IP address. Also, under System IP, select DHCP, which is the default, or Static. For DHCP, you do not need to provide any additional information. If you select Static, the Node 0 or primary node static IP address that you entered during deployment appears. Provide the following values: the primary DNS and an optional secondary DNS, the net mask value, gateway address for Node 0, IP address for Node 1, and gateway address for Node 1. After you have entered the network information, click Continue. A warning message appears stating that your system IP address will be changing. Verify the IP address and click Yes to continue, or click No to make changes. Another message stating the system IP has been updated appears. After a short delay, the license information window appears. The license information screen is where you register and license your system. As can be seen, your system is currently in an unregistered trial state, which provides you with a 30-day license. To get your full license, you will need to register your system. To do so, scroll down and click on Register next to Online License Registration. Please note, if your system is not connected to the Internet, you'll need to select the Offline License Registration via URL file option. The steps for offline registration can be found at the end of this training module. To register the system, you need the Important Registration Information insert from Stratus, which was shipped in the box with your system. The insert contains the asset ID for the ztC Edge system. You must also complete the following steps on the Stratus registration web portal. On the General Information page, enter the following information: first name and last name, company email. Provide the email address of the company that is the final deployment site. Do not provide a personal email address. And asset ID. Provide the asset ID from the Stratus registration insert. You'll also need to review and accept the service terms. The next screen is the Location Information screen. Enter the following information: company name. Provide the full name of the company that is the final deployment site. Deployment shipping address. Provide the complete address for the replacement part shipments. Use the address of the company that is the final deployment site. Do not provide a PO box. Fields are address 1 and address 2, city, state, postal code, and country. There's also a special instructions section to add any special instructions. For example, always deliver to loading dock 2. On the contact details screen, enter the following information. In the primary technical contact and secondary technical contact fields, provide the names of the technical contacts who will be communicating with your authorized Stratus service representative. If the information is the same as entered on the General Info screen, you can check the I am the primary technical contact checkbox, or for the secondary technical contact, I am the secondary technical contact checkbox, and most of the fields will auto-populate. You will be required to enter a desk phone and optionally a mobile phone. For service renewal contact, provide the name of the person who is responsible for handling annual service agreement renewals. After you click Next at the bottom of the contact detail page, Stratus verifies the information. An information verification page appears, allowing you to review the information. Click back to change any information. Click Next to submit the information and complete the registration process. If there is a problem with the information, a problem encountered pane appears with a description of the problem. You can click back to fix the problem if possible. If a problem is still encountered, click Next to continue the registration process, allowing you to download a license file. To help resolve the problem and ensure that your account is set up properly, your authorized Stratus service representative will contact you. Please make note of the red text. Do not click Next button multiple times. Once clicked, please allow the system to complete the process. Even though it may seem like nothing is happening, the system is processing the request. The final screen is the license key screen. Click the Download License button to download the license key file, which you will install on your ztC Edge system. Depending on your browser, the file may automatically be downloaded, or you will need to save the file to a location. In either instance, make sure you know the location of the download because you will need to access the file later. The license key will be saved as a file key in the format of asset ID_A. Once the download has completed, you can close out of the window and go back to the system installation screen to upload the license key. Back on the system installation screen, under the license option, scroll down to the Install License section and click on Choose File. Locate your asset ID_A file key and click Open. Next, click once on the Upload button and scroll to the top of the screen. You'll now notice that your asset ID is no longer in an unregistered trial state, but now displays your asset ID. This indicates a successful license registration. You can now click on the Finish button to be taken to the ztC console's dashboard page. At this point, we're done with the initial deployment of your ztC Edge 100i system. For additional information on administering your system, please view the available video training modules found on Stratus's service portal. We'll now look at how to register your ztC Edge system when the system is not connected to the Internet. This section describes how to register your ztC Edge system if it does not have Internet access. The following procedure assumes you are registering your system during the initial deployment. There is another training module describing the process of registration after logging into the ztC console. If your system does not have Internet access, you need to move a file between the location of the ztC console, which does not have Internet access, and a location with Internet access. This procedure describes one method, though other methods are possible. The key is to get the file from the ztC console to a system with Internet access so that you may register your system, and then return back to the ztC console with the file. Before we begin, notice that your asset ID initially defaults to Unregistered Trial, and you are provided with a 30-day license. On a computer with access to the ztC console, insert a USB flash drive into a USB port. On the System Installation License screen, scroll down to the Register and Acquire License section. Next to the Offline Registration via URL file, click Download URL file and save the register_site_file.html file to the USB drive. After downloading the file, properly remove the USB flash drive. Now take the USB drive to a location with Internet access. At the location with Internet access, insert the USB drive into a USB port of the computer with Internet access. Navigate to the register_site_file.html file and click the file name. A browser opens the file and is redirected to the Stratus Registration web portal. Complete the registration web portal steps described earlier in this video training module. Download the license key file and save it to the USB drive. Take the USB drive back to the location with access to the ztC console. On the computer with access to the ztC console, insert the USB drive into a USB port. Back on the System Installation License screen, under the Install License section, click Choose File and navigate to the license key file on the USB drive and select it. Once the file is shown on the screen, click Upload once and scroll to the top of the screen to view your asset ID. Notice your asset ID no longer displays unregistered trial, but now shows your asset ID. This indicates a successful registration. You can now click Finish to move to the ztC console dashboard. This completes the initially connecting to the ztC Edge console training module. Thank you for viewing this module.